pop up here on YouTube, right, when you publish
Yeah.
it.
And we are live. Alright guys, let me see, let me fix this. Alright guys, welcome back to another episode here. I'm just here tonight with File 4 Dirt Dart.
Hey
And,
everybody.
I sent a bunch of invites. Handgun U is supposed to come, and Bush Hunt is trying to fix his computer or something. But anyways, if you guys want to join, just send me a PM, and as long as you keep it clean, you know, nothing crazy like cursing like every 2 seconds, something like that. You can come back in and hang around with us for a while. So you guys know me. I'm Jarhead6, and I make videos here on YouTube, and that's about it. You want to do a quick intro, 504?
Yeah, 504 Dirt Dart. So I do videos on concealed carry topics and Second Amendment issues, stuff like that.
Very cool.
Jarhead6 and myself. What's that?
No, go ahead. Sorry, bro.
Oh, I was just going to say Jarhead6 and myself are both prior service military, and so we have, you know, that experience behind us. But I don't know about you, but I don't really consider myself a firearms expert per se. I've been out of that for quite a while, but I'm here to learn with everybody else.
Yeah, man, I don't consider myself an expert on anything. I mean, I got so much to learn, and I think me and you do kind of the same thing when we put out videos. I put a video the other day called a tool inside your toolbox, and that's what training is all about. Just you know what I'm saying, having different ways to do something. You never know which one you're gonna use. So there's definitely a bunch of people here on YouTube that could teach you a lot of things, but then there's a bunch of other people that can't teach you anything. So you just gotta be very careful which one you pick.
Yeah, I mean, so, you know, even in the military, I mean, my experience was there's a book way to do everything, and of course that's what you train to, but there's lots of different ways to accomplish the same goal, and depending on what you're doing, there could be more efficient ways to get that done, and you know, through training you learn these things. Yeah,
definitely, man. I remember when I was a young PFC back in the days. When you show up to your first unit, normally what they tell you is forget everything that you learned at school, because we're gonna teach you the real way. And I don't know, you ever heard terms like that? So,
oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. You know, all that stuff you learned in boot, right, was just kind of to exercise your mind and to learning how to learn. And then when you get to your unit, you know, you're talking to people who really have experience, and they really show you the right way to do things. And it's kind of a whole different ballgame.
Yeah, man, I got to tell you, man. I'm sure you remember your first day in the fleet, or the first day in the first day in your first unit.
Yeah.
It was horrible for me, man. Horrible. I mean, the things that Marines do, and sure Army does too. It's just a bad day being a young Marine, you know.
Yeah. You know, the thing that was funny was coming out of what we call basic training was you get to your unit and you think everything's all like super strict and everything, you know. So you're standing at attention or parade rest for everybody. Everybody's looking at you at your unit like you're crazy. Like, what are you doing? Just relax, you know.
Yeah. And you got. I mean, I won't talk about the things that happened to me on the first day, but I don't think it was legal in any way, because they mess with you, bro. They do mess with you.
Yeah.
And a lot of times they do it purposely.
Howdy.
Van is in the house. What's going on, Van Prepper?
Oh, just my back is giving out. I'm too old for all this shoveling, man. I got to move down south.
Oh man,
Really?
I should
You
drag
got
my camera over to the window. It started snowing at 11 o'clock this morning. We probably got 2 inches on the ground now, and it never snows here. So
Mhm.
My
everybody
Man, you
thinks
parents,
gotta be
Oregon
careful
is
where
a
you're
winter
at.
wonderland, but I mean it never snows here.
right on. Now my parents are on vacation and they asked me to just not worry about the driveway and everything, but keep the sidewalk shoveled because if you don't shovel the sidewalk, the city will come in and do it and charge you. And so I went over to shovel their sidewalk, and when there's a lot of snow, the plow comes through and it knocks all the snow onto the sidewalk, so it's all packed in. Holy
Hmm.
cow! I'm like, man, I am way too old for this.
Man,
Me too.
I gotta tell you, man. When I went from when I came from I wasn't born in the United States, so when I came from Cuba, and no, I did not came in a raft. I took an
Dude, you were
airplane.
born in Cuba? I
Uh,
didn't know that. Wow.
what? What
That's
do you think?
huge.
What do you think is really? I
Yeah, I
said it
didn't
many
know that.
times already, bro.
I didn't know you were
Yeah, and
born there though. I knew you were Cuban. I just didn't know you were born there.
no, yeah, I'm a straight out Cuban, man. I was
That's
born
cool,
there.
man.
I don't. I mean, I've been in the United States freaking 20 years almost, and
Yeah.
but it's kind of funny, man, because I went to combat what 5 times, so they always will mess with me, all my
Yeah.
my boys, the country boys, and I used to tell them, what does it take, man? Here I am in Afghanistan for the fifth time, bro. Like what does it take for you guys to love me in a way. But
You know, my
anyways,
brothers back in the first Gulf War, right? Those guys didn't
really.
get their citizenship, man, after that. No. I got friends in Mexico and Canada and Portugal and Brazil. None of them got their citizenship after that war.
That's bull
It
crap
was
right
different
there.
back
Wow.
then. Oh yeah, I know. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
If you go to fight for this country in a war and they don't find any problem with the service,
Yeah.
you didn't like try to sell us down the river or something, you should get you should get fast track to citizenship for
I
that. I mean,
know.
what else
And
can
I,
you
and
do?
I
Well,
think I think that happens now. I think now you
yeah,
do.
yeah, they do. I
Yeah.
mean, I cannot tell you the process on that because I was an American citizen before I joined the military, and
Mhm.
which you have to in order to get a security clearance.
Yep.
And but what I can say is that I know I sent a bunch of Marines to get it done, and they do offer legal assistance that they bill your package, they send it to immigration, and they even do the swearing and all that in the base. So they do hook you up, man. They do help you
Yeah, I
out a
think
lot. So
nowadays
that's
it's
good.
pretty smooth, which is good. But yeah, Van, you'd get a kick out of this. So back when I was in the late '80s and early '90s, we had a lot of Canadians in the unit, and that was because it was so hard to get into the Canadian military. Those guys make a lot of money up there. Like a
Really?
PFC up in Canada, and this was back in the late '80s, early '90s, making $34,000 a year
Wow,
just to be an entry level
Wow.
person in their military. So they had a huge waiting list. So instead of waiting for years and years, those guys would come down here and join the U.S. Military.
that's 34 GER back in the late 80s is essentially. I
Yeah,
mean, that's like what 50, 55 now. I mean, that's
probably so. Yeah,
it's
real money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
if we paid our soldiers like that, if we wouldn't have to worry about ever getting enough
You
people
know,
to serve.
and
Yeah.
I kind of went off track of what I was gonna say, but real quick, what I was gonna say that in 1995 I went to New York and I lived in Yonkers, and I remember the snow being like up to my chest. But anyways,
Oh yeah,
when you're
man.
saying that, Ben, I read an article was about a month ago, and they were talking about how our E3s and E4s they get paid so much money versus to a guy that has a college degree. And I'm telling you, man, it blew my mind to hear this because, and I tell you what, I got an associate's and I got a bachelor's too. So I got a bachelor's degree, and now I'm going for a master's degree. And I was in the military, so I guess I could speak intelligent in a way. But you pay somebody that has a college degree $30,000-$40,000, and versus an E2 and E3 $30,000 to $40,000. Oh, not even that much, maybe E5, E6. But you have the ability to send that guy to a combat zone, and he has the chance to die. I mean, how much money will you charge as a civilian for me to send you to a combat zone where you could get killed? You know, $30,000 is nothing.
I think it's about $150,000 right now.
Right.
Yeah.
To go take one of those contractor jobs.
Yeah, my brother-in-law after he got out he ran a private security firm, and they would get gigs for to go over to other countries. And at one point they got I don't remember what country it was, but the guy said they wanted them to get him into and out of this one country in the Middle East, and he said, but we don't want you to bring any guns. And he's like, yeah, that's absolutely not going to happen. We're not we are not in the business of providing security for people and not bringing guns. That just isn't going to work.
You know, in 2009, 2010, I did 12 months in Afghanistan. So I was there for 12 months, and I started working with the force protection guys. And you know, your job is kind of like to assess a base for security issues. So you pretty much is the guy that go there and say, all right, look, man, you got to set up machine guns this way. You got to set up towers this way. The entry control point is messed up. Maybe you need to put a final vehicle, final barrier that is going to stop a car bomb coming in, things like that. And we had a lot of civilians that worked for us because those guys were the subject matter experts for the equipment that we use. And I tell you what, man, the first time that we got attacked, some of those guys that were getting paid $200,000 a year, they were like, nope. We're not going to go to that location because we have a chance to get killed. And I remember telling those guys, like, listen, idiot, why do you think that we pay you $200,000 for a year? Because you have a chance to die. You think we give you that money because you're an expert? You took a 6-week class on a camera, 6 weeks, and then you're getting paid $200,000 a year. You're not an engineer. You're not a doctor. You are a retard. Yeah. Well, not retard. You're making more money than me, but I'm saying you were a guy that got lucky. You got a 6-week class, and then you came here to fix a camera. And 90% of the time you didn't fix the camera. 90% of the time you just changed it, you know? And don't get me wrong, man. I got to tell you this. I met some civilians that went into Afghanistan and Iraq to help out because they were true patriots. You know, guys that wanted to they were getting paid a lot of money, but they wanted to do something for the country, and they felt, you know, they're not in the military, so they serve, and you could just tell the difference between the guys that were doing it for the money and the guys that were doing it for the money also, but also to help out, if I make any sense. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, for sure.
Because some guys truly want to go and help, man.
Yep.
So,
no doubt about it.
Handgun U is here. Now we can start the party.
Yeah.
You can hear me?
Boise State.
Yeah, that's where I'm from.
My kid's a huge Boise State fan.
Well, you got a good kid then.
He's got jerseys and the whole posters. He's got all kinds of stuff.
Well, that's I'm originally from Idaho.
Is there any truth to the rumor? I remember hearing this, but I thought it was just somebody had made it up. Any truth to the rumor that because they had the blue field, they had birds that were like dive bombing it, thinking it was no? Okay, yeah, that would have been pretty awesome if that was true. They had to clean their birds up all the time.
But they do wear blue jerseys to blend in with the blue field.
Yeah.
And they get in trouble for that every once in a while.
But you gotta remember too, there's also lots of places that have green jerseys that plant green grass. So
right,
absolutely. Yeah.
Man, I gotta tell you, man. Now that Handgun U is here, you're doing a good job in your channel, bro. I'm enjoying it. I'm gonna give you a props, man. Good job, bro.
Thank you very much.
Like I'm telling you, man. I don't know why you picked that name. You may have to change it, dog, because you're not a Handgun newbie anymore. You get in there with the big boys.
No, I will always be a newbie.
That's a problem.
No, that's
you can't shake the handle once you get it, you know. I see all these great names like Casket Stacker and Texas Jetta, and I'm like, man, why did I say Van Prepper? Why didn't I think of something cooler than that before I came up with the channel name?
Yeah. That's actually, I actually like that name, Handgun Newbie, because it's kind of humble. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
Like, some of the names that I see is like Tactical Master, file this, and I'm like really, dude? Like, come on, man.
He almost said 504. Did you hear that?
Yeah, I was.
That was a Freudian
Almost
slip,
did.
Dirt Dart. He's on you.
Yeah, I was like 5000. I would have messed with 504, man. He knows how to jump out of airplanes. I don't want to see him flying over my house and jump.
Only people who came from where I come know what 504 Dirt Dart means. So that was kind of the origin of that. Nobody else would know what that meant.
Yeah, Ted was the one who told me because I was kind of lost.
Yeah, Ted knew. Yeah.
I don't even try to figure out people's names. I'm just like, I'm pretty excited if, they have like the names where it's a simple name to say, but because it's written some with numbers instead of letters and trying to figure it out. You ever see me do shout outs and I'm clueless on somebody's name?
Mm-hmm.
Like I have no idea what this dude says, so I'll just spell it out. I'm like, here's what it says, you find him. Here's a link.
Yeah. I like that you put in the link because at the beginning you said the name. I'm like, who are you talking about? I tried to search a guy, I couldn't find it.
I had the
putting
same
the link.
That's what I started to do because I had that problem on other people's shout out videos. I'm like, I can't, if it's not spelled exactly like you would think, you don't know if it's one word or two words or, capitals, not capitals. And so I said, I got to start putting links in or nobody's going to find these people.
Yeah, links are the best. Links get the best action, too. I mean, I know with yours, like, I just go right down the links, and anybody I'm not subscribed to, I just sub them.
Yeah.
And whereas, like, J.R. Dugal, you got to, because he doesn't do links because he's on, like, an iPad or a phone or something,
right.
So then you got to go into search, and you got to find him and stuff. It's a lot.
And depending on what the name is, sometimes there's, like, you'll get a name that's a common name, and there's like 800 dudes with the same name. You're like, I don't know which one I'm supposed to sub to, so you just start randomly subbing every Eric White you can find.
Yeah.
There's 800 Eric Whites. You're like, who is this guy? I don't have no idea why is this crazy prepper guy subbing my channel?
I got to show Al Owens. I saw him in the comments there. I got to show Al Owens what I picked up today.
Sweet.
Went down at lunch. They called me, said, "Hey, it's in." So here we go. We're ready to get rocking.
Where is Professor Ted at? Why isn't he here?
That's
what I call him.
I don't know what Ted is at, man.
I call him Professor Ted because I popped in for just a minute at the AMFA chat, and I saw him with his glasses and his hair. I was like, he looks like a professor.
Ted's like the elder statesman.
Sure. Yeah.
Statesman.
Nah, come on now. We all know that guy's not that smart. Come on now.
Ted?
Yeah.
Man,
Yeah, he lives in Mississippi, right? You can't be that smart.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Hey, for the record, because Ted is like part of the AMFA network. I love those guys, and I do not concur with anything you guys saying. Ted is awesome.
Ted's a great guy, man.
Hell yeah, man! And you know what? He has so much knowledge when it comes down to weapons. Like, it's unbelievable, man. He's actually building me a lower, so I can't wait for that lower to get here. I sent him the FFL information, and so it should be here in the next couple of weeks.
That's cool, man.
Pretty cool.
I got delayed at the gun shop, so they called me, so I run down there to pick up my lower, and so they run the little background thing. Boom. I bet it took like almost an hour for it to come back.
Oh,
Jeez.
Dude, that stinks. That happened to me twice in the last year, and I think the reason it happened, I'm pretty sure that since the NSA spies on everybody, I had been leaving like nasty, insulting things on John McCain's Facebook page, like your services are no longer required. You withered old dinosaur. You suck. Stuff like that. And I'm like thinking John McCain, because he is a bitter, grumpy old dude. I'm like thinking he's probably sitting around and he's like, you know what I got to do? Find this guy and hang him up every time he runs a background check, because I had never been held up before, and I got held up like 2 times right in a row, and I'm like, this sucks.
Yeah.
What you have to do? You have to wait for your. What about if you have a concealed permit? Can you just get it and see you later kind of thing? Go there, pick the gun, and go. Because that's kind of here in Jackson. Yeah. Well, yeah. What about you guys? Oh, you guys got to go through the whole process.
You still have to have a background check. We do, and then we pay for the gun.
For a lower, you do.
and we get a receipt, and then we have to drive to the county sheriff's, have them add the gun to our permit, and
Wow.
then we go back to pick the gun up. We can't, when we pay for the gun, we're not allowed to take the gun with us. We have to go to the county sheriff's and have it added to our permit, and they give us like this
Yeah.
ticket to bring back, and that's how we get it.
Well,
So.
here in North Carolina, either you get a permit to purchase a weapon, but you can only purchase up to 5 pistols. I want to say, or 5 firearms, not firearms, the pistols or revolvers. And then if you have a concealed permit, you just walk there and you pick up whatever you want. You know what I'm saying?
So in Oregon, the concealed permit doesn't do anything for it. They don't even look at it.
Yeah.
They have to do a background check on every serialized weapon, or in this case, lower receiver.
Hey, so we got a firearm guy and Brian. You want to do a quick intro, guys?
Go ahead, Brian.
Okay, sorry, I was in the middle of changing shirts. I still had my work clothes on.
And your camera's off? What?
What? You changed your shorts?
I can't show the star. I can't show the emblem on my shirt.
Where we could have got like 1,000 viewers instantly had you done that on camera.
Oh, good. That's the last thing I need.
Man, this is weird, man. Go ahead, Brian.
Anyway, I'm Brian with Worldwide Bushcraft and Survival. Nobody important and nobody special.
We like you.
You and me both, brother.
There you go.
Oh, man. Go ahead, Dan.
Dan here from the Firearm Guy channel. Just make short, boring videos. That's it.
Welcome to my world. At least yours are a little exciting.
No, I like yours too, Brian.
Man, I like that last video you put out with that 22 that you were shooting. That was pretty awesome. I gotta tell you. You want to talk about that? Yeah.
Yeah, that is awesome. I gotta say that is so much fun. The reason I asked is because I put a video out a couple days ago, actually, and but that HTA 9022. I mean, it was a blast. It really is.
How's the 22? Are you guys able to buy 22 up there already?
Oh, I've got
Or is it still difficult? Yeah, I mean, I'm tracking too. I got a few thousand too, but I'm saying, regular people, are you guys being able to find 22 in the stores?
Regular people. Jarhead just declassified himself from the regular folks.
No, I mean, what I meant to say is that we and probably the people that listen to us are more into the prepare side of the house versus non-prepare, expect the government to support you kind of thing. You know, you guys know
what you mean, Jarhead.
So,
you guys with the 1,000 subs or more. That's what you mean. You know,
I mean,
us little guys.
Ultimately, no, I'm saying ultimately we as guys that are preparing, ultimately we're going to most likely have a higher percentage of surviving. Like some people in my family that are expecting the government to go to your house and give you everything that you need. Most likely they're going to die. So.
Yeah.
So maybe I put that in the wrong way.
That sounds like a great holiday card to send some of your family.
Merry Christmas, you're gonna die.
Yeah. Somebody needs to make some specific prepper holiday cards you can send your family.
Hey, I said something nice, man. Usually my mom says I'm kind of crazy because I prepare for, to defend my family in a way. But then we don't think we're crazy. We're just cool people, I guess. But anyways, I think I kicked out Dan from that statement. What are you doing there, Brian? What are you getting ready for?
Make sure it didn't have a loaded round in the chamber. Just make sure it wasn't loaded.
I see the AR back there. Nice.
I painted that sucker.
Let's see it, man.
Still got a long way to go on it, I think. But let's see.
Nice.
Oh, that's nice.
Does it look all right? I don't know.
Yeah,
I like it, but I think I got a little too green. So I did my 30-06 and then did this same knife I showed the other day, last Friday. I think I like this little bit lighter color better.
Oh, I like that.
This got a little bit more work.
You got any? You were talking about getting a plate carry and getting some type of protection. You got anything finally?
Yeah, I need to.
I mean, it was months ago.
I think what I ended. Hold on, I'll sit there and pull it up to make sure I understand. I'm saying the right thing because I was trying to decide between two, and I will find it here momentarily.
Because I've been in the market to buy some type of chest rig. I don't want to buy a plate carry, man. I don't think my back can take it. I want to buy something that is pretty light that you could take and go with it, you know. And I saw this company called Strike. What's up?
So far at work, I don't have to use any kind of plate carrier, but for the house, this is the tactical assault gear chest rig. And I don't know, I ought to do a review on it, but I just don't do many reviews. But this right here is, I tell you what, I love that sucker.
How heavy is it?
It's not. I really truly think that even a sissy, I mean, even a dude like you. Sorry, man. I was kidding. I think even you can handle that. The Condor I was looking at though for the plate carrier, I can't remember. I was looking at 3 different ones. It was the Defender's, the one I think I ended up deciding on. It was going to be between that or the Operator. I think I like that little bit fuller chest of the Defender better.
I like that. I like what you got, man. It looks pretty nice.
That looks great.
But Dan, you back?
Yeah.
All right, man. What were you saying? What were you saying about the little 22?
No, I was just gonna brag about my new bullpup. That's all.
I got that new revolver that I show in the video, and I gotta tell you, man, I'm liking it a lot. And I know Handgun Newbie hates me because he doesn't like revolvers, but
no, I think it's fine.
I got it in the local store. I mean, it's a German revolver called EAA Windicator, and it was $269, man.
Ooh, can't beat that, man.
I know, man, and I was talking to Dan about it, and I kind of took your advice, what you said about, hey, you know what, use it, and if it doesn't work, sell it. So I was like, yeah, $269, you can't beat that.
Well,
but
nice, right there.
Somebody will always buy a revolver for $250.
Yeah.
And there's always somebody that's going to want that.
Yeah,
you say revolver for $250, somebody will jump on that.
That's a nice caliber
definitely,
too, man. That'll put a hurting on somebody.
Yeah, well, I just got this right here. It's 158 grains hollow points, so that would take care of business. 38 special though, plus beat. And I got the problem with this guns, man, is that usually you buy a weapon that is not a common firearm, and then it's difficult to find a holster.
Check out this holster. See-through Kydex.
Holster.
Nice.
And it conceals very good, man. It's very good. I know I like my Glock 17, but it's way too big to conceal, man. And the wife doesn't want to give me her Glock 19. Maybe I need to buy my own.
Get yourself a shield.
Yeah, but I mean they're pretty expensive too. You know, they go into $400, $500, $600. I mean, to get one of those little 9mm pistols. I mean, you get what you pay for. It's just now the time right now.
Yeah, I hear you. Oh, I know. I paid $425 for mine, but 8 months ago it was every bit of $550, $600. Matter of fact, that's what I paid for my XDS. Now you can get those for far less than that, like maybe not $450, but the upper fours, as where couple years ago. Matter of fact, I saw them for $700 at times. So timing's everything, you know, especially in the gun world. Something comes out like that Glock 42. You watch, you know, people are gonna people want them now. Once the steam rolls down, that's gonna drop another 30 or 40 bucks. Maybe Glock doesn't play the pricing game as much as other companies do, but still could happen if the man tails off.
Yeah. I tell you what, man, I went to see that Rock Island M200 that you did the video on it, and I saw the 206, which is a 2-inch one.
Yeah.
And it was ugly. It was pretty ugly, but it felt so good in my hands. Like, it was amazing how it felt in my hands. And I was gonna buy it, but I saw this one, and that's where I got that one from. And that one was a little bit more quality. But for, I think it was $219 for 38.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a good price. I mean, it was pretty good. You can't beat $200.
You need to buy two of them and just buy one of those dual, you know, holsters, or just have two of them.
Yeah. You know what?
A New York reload holster.
Yeah.
That would be pimp. You need to do it, dude.
Funny enough, I've actually seen one of those. I was down at Forest City Tactical this week, and they're like showing me some stuff that they're kind of playing with and whatever. And he pulls out this like holster. It's like, you know, well, it can't show up on the screen, you know, but it's big, and it's, I think it was for like 2 Glock 19s inside the waistband. Put, you know, appendix carry. It wasn't anything they'll sell or anything, you know, but it was cool to see. He's like, yeah, we just made this to mess around with.
Why would you want to do
That's
that?
cool. Huh?
Why would you want to do that, man? I don't know, man.
Nobody would.
I
They
think
were
it's
just messing
too
around.
much.
The main reason is because you can. This is America.
Yeah. That's right.
Well, yeah, that's true.
For now.
Yeah. I'm pretty aware. I'm pretty aware what it is to be an American. How to pay for it. So it was like $1,000, dude. You got it, Brian. You got the joke.
Oh, do what?
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
I say I'm pretty sure what it is to be an American. I had to pay for it. I had to pay like $1,000.
Yeah.
So,
You paid for most and more than most native born. I will say that.
I got to tell you, man, me and 504 were talking right before this started, and I see some guys that have this EDC, a bunch of EDC dump or whatever, and they carry so many things, man, and that kind of seems to me not realistic, you know. You know, a knife, a cell phone, 2 guns, a set of keys, paracord, you know, a first aid kit. I mean, come on, man. I don't know what you guys feel about that, but that just sounds like too much for me. You know, I pretty much carry my cell phone and a pistol. That's just how I roll. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Maybe I'm not well prepared or something. But
Well, you at least have a knife on your keychain?
well, yeah. I mean, I carry a knife too. I carry a pocket knife, the pistol. You know, maybe, you know, typically when I go out too, I usually go with my wife, so she also carries a pistol. But yeah, I'm pretty simple. You know, a cell phone, my pistol, my knife, and that's about it. I don't carry like a million things. You know.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. I see some of the videos on YouTube, and they like, man, it feels like you got to bring a backpack just to carry everything you bring in with you. It's just too much. But maybe I'm wrong. You guys got anything going on in your channels?
I will be here pretty soon. Right now, I don't.
What about you, Ben? Which you got plenty, Brian. You want to talk about it?
Well, I'm just thinking about doing some more gun stuff, some training stuff, just things that we've having to deal with at work, and kind of take it and make some videos with it. It's nothing that hasn't been done before, but it has never been done by this fat guy. I'm just saying. Sarah, I'm sitting here reading while you guys are talking, I'm reading this article. Constitution check. What does it mean that there is a right to bear guns? So I guess there's the Supreme Court's about to hear a couple cases. about what it really means to by the right to bear arms.
Yeah.
That's great. Always something.
What surprised me, I don't know if you guys seen this video, but it was a video posted by some guy, and it was shared on my channel. But it was a guy that was at a college ground and had a clipboard, and it was asking people to sign this petition so they could review, they could support the president's bills to go against the Second Amendment right. And you know, he's like talking to these people and saying, hey, look, I want you to sign this bill because we're going to give it to the you know, to whatever, you know, and going to go against, and it's going to support the president's bills to go against the Second Amendment right. And at one point, like, these college students weren't even listening. At one point, the guy is actually telling the students, hey, look, I want you to sign this bill. I want you to sign this petition, because what we want to do is that we want to kill all law-abiding citizens that own weapons legally. And the kids were like signing this petition. One of the other things he said, yeah, he was like, hey, I want you guys to sign this petition because we're gonna pick up every law-abiding citizen that own a weapon and gonna put it inside a FEMA camp. And the kids were like, okay.
It's a petition to round
like
up all gun owners and put them inside containment camps and then execute them. Yeah, and everybody, I think it was like Berkeley or something like that, but all these kids were signing it. Yeah.
How old were these kids that you're talking about, Jarhead?
College, maybe like 20, 21, 8, 19, around there.
Yeah,
but you know,
they I remember when I was going to OU in the early 90s, and there was a petition to go around to end women's suffrage. And just thousands of kids were just signing this like, yeah, we need to do. They're just ignorant, man. They don't know better. They don't know anything until they get out of college and start living life for about 7 to 10 years and fall on their face and get a nice slap of reality. And then
what they need to do
they're
is
productive
pay
human
taxes.
beings.
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
there
Dan.
we go.
Yeah, they need to pay taxes and understand what the heck they're talking about.
No
and you know
doubt.
what's interesting is how easy is it to take somebody from one position to the other position by showing up, acting authoritative, coming in with your false, what you claim to be facts, and these kids just gather around. And I've seen it at gun rallies, for crying out loud. People, you'll start here. And the Second Amendment cause, and next thing you know, you'll be over here talking about something else that has nothing to do. And that's a lot of speakers do that. You know, they just spin the whole issue to their personal agenda. Back to college kids.
You know what I've seen too? I mean, anytime you talk to somebody and somebody's talking about executing people, you would think that your brain start acting up and you start listening. I mean, we are talking about killing people, and they weren't listening. I mean, it was just. A lot of those guys had headphones on and they're listening to the music or talking to someone, and they don't care. And it goes back to, and I did a video about this a while ago, and some people were pissed about it, but it goes back to the whole open carry. I mean, I agree with open carry. You can open carry whatever you want. If you want to open carry a tank, open carry a tank as long as it's legal. I don't care. But you know, some of these videos, like I seen, is the guy telling his wife or his girlfriend, hey, baby, are you ready to record me? And then the girl is like, yeah. And she puts the camera off, and then they start walking through a main highway. And next thing you know, you have like 7 cops, and he's like, make sure you record everything. And it goes back to training. If you open carry to self-defense, whatever, or to train, because a lot of guys say, oh, I just want to train people and I want to teach people. How are you teaching those people doing that? I don't know what's your technique on teaching, but I don't think it's working. That's not a good technique.
I agree. You know, I think that if you want to open carry, it is your constitutional right to be an idiot and do so.
Yep.
I just don't think it's not going to accomplish anything. I say that,
I don't know why
but
anybody
I've
would
done it
want to
before.
do it.
Yeah. I mean, in North Carolina, you can open carry. I'm all about it. I'm freaking extremely 110% about it. I just don't see your training, the training purpose on you recording, and I think it's making us look bad. You know what I'm saying? That's what's doing it, making us look bad. You went to Walmart, you picked up an AR, and you picked up a camera, and if you see those channels, they have like 3, 4 videos, and then one of them has like 100,000 views, and everything else has nothing. They're just looking for that video that's gonna go viral, and they're gonna make money. It's all about money. They don't care.
That's just it. It's about views. It's about a popularity contest. It has nothing to do with the Second Amendment. They'll start with that premise, but it has to do with trying to get a video to go viral. And I've seen those same videos, and some of those guys act like complete jerks, disrespectful to the police officers who are responding to a call. They're doing exactly what they're supposed to do. And I tell you what, I don't want one of those idiots around there when I'm walking down the street with my wife and daughter with some jerk trying to create attention on himself based on an AR or a shotgun, whatever. Now, don't get me wrong, they do have the right to do that, but when they're doing it to create a distraction, I got an issue with that.
Yeah,
they'll definitely see my hand go to my hip. I know that for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I seen guys with the whole AR and like an American flag flying down from the barrel. Come on, man! Like really?
Yeah.
You think it's funny, dude. But it is what it is, man. People usually when you say something or you don't agree, I mean, a lot of the comments that I got were like, "Oh, you don't support the Second Amendment and this and that." I do, but what is your purpose? What are you trying to do? Because you're not accomplishing your goal. I don't think you're accomplishing your goal. And one last thing with this, and Dan was talking about it. If you want to do something, and if you're going to start screaming "F this, F that, F this," I'm a combat vet, F that. That's actually embarrassing to all the combat vets to hear you after 20 years in the military, and the best military in the world, and you are 45 years old, and you weren't told discipline to stop cursing. You would think after 20 years in the military, the best military in the entire world, you would learn how to conduct yourself professionally and not say F this every 2 seconds. I'm just saying. But.
Well, here's the thing. We are not trying to recruit each other for our cause. We're all on the same team.
Very good point.
People with defense sitters. Now, when you see somebody like that, the average American who believes in the Second Amendment all of a sudden starts questioning, what exactly does this mean? Does this mean that I have to support some guy who's going to walk around with an AK on his back in a grocery store? Because that's when we lose the argument with the American people. I don't have a problem with open carry. I don't think most Americans have a problem with open carry. Matter of fact, if somebody open carry, I don't know about you guys. I don't think twice of it. And I do see it.
Yeah.
But this crazy stuff is where we lose the argument with defense sitters, the people who, they're the ones who could sway the argument, make the difference. And we'll lose them if people act like that.
Yeah, I think there's a group there, and I talked about this. There's a group that supports the Second Amendment, and then there's a group that doesn't. But the majority, they don't care. They just don't care. And when you see guys like that, is what you're saying, Dan. Those guys that don't care start pushing into the group that do not support the Second Amendment. So
I think New York tells the tale. You had both sides of the argument, and then New York went what I consider to be a little too far, and now you got a ton of people joining up with the gun rights groups in New York. And I think, a big chunk of society doesn't really care strongly one way or the other, but when you start talking about taking away guns, then all of a sudden they do care, because it's still a strong American tradition, and people don't want to give up their guns when it comes right down to it.
I don't.
No.
Who'd have thought 6 months ago that New York would have one of the largest NRA affiliates in the country?
Oh yeah, we exploded after the SAFE Act.
Yeah, nobody would have ever saw that coming. But now they do. Even bigger than Texas.
That's thanks to Vance and all his videos that he's been putting out. Good job, Van Prepper.
Listen, I don't have enough views on all my videos put together to account for how many people have joined NYSERPA. So, it was pretty cool though that they actually made an announcement today. It kind of backs up what the firearm guy is saying here. They said, that they were going to stop attending the really, really big Second Amendment rallies because what's happening
that's right.
One, they're not just Second Amendment rallies. There's, fracking groups, and there's 20 other groups there, and everybody wants their time to say something, and it defeats the purpose. And they also said what's happening is you go to these events, you spend all your money to organize these events, and the only people who go to these events are people that are already converted. Your resources would be better spent going out and getting that middle 50% that is kind of doesn't really have an opinion either way, and then convincing them and making them understand how this really does affect them, and why they should be involved in this and why they should have an opinion about it, because most people don't have any idea how this affects them. So
that's a good point.
Do you guys do anything? Yeah, who's that?
It's me, Bush Hunt.
Yeah, bro, we can hear you now, bro. Welcome.
Is it good? Is it bad? Or?
No, you're good. You're good.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, yeah, this video's not working for some reason. I can't get the video up, so I gotta work on that.
Spent all your resources designing my logo. You don't have any left to put your camera back on.
For real.
Yeah. So, all right, what were we saying?
We were talking about people changing the argument from a straight Second Amendment rally to every other cause, and I've seen that myself. I mean, I don't know if you guys checked it out, but last year I spoke at the state capitol in Michigan, and I have a video up on it, and I stuck strictly with the cause of 2A, and I addressed the president and other state and federal legislators who were against us and some of their cockamamie ideas. After me came people from all different directions, all different ambitions that did not focus on the Second Amendment. Actually, not long after I spoke, I left. I couldn't take it anymore. And that was supposed to be a nationwide rally at the state capitals. And I think a lot of them were very good, but I know they get misguided after a while.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. When we saw that, remember when like the Iraq War and the war in Afghanistan started, and all those protest groups were coming, and they completely lost any ability to get a coherent message across, because every time they were interviewed, they'd interview 100 people, and you'd get 100 different answers about why they were there or what their cause was. You had one group that this was their thing, and one group that this was their thing, and they just all sort of showed up at this one rally, and it really hurt their ability to get their message across, and we don't want to make the same mistake.
Right. Hey, General Banter, what do you think about this?
Who?
I see General Banter there. He's been hanging with us for a while. I want to get his thoughts, and then you too, buddy.
Well, you know what? I mean, I'm Canadian, right? So I don't have a huge platform on it. What I don't really understand, and I'm hoping that I could talk with Van Prepper someday and he could actually educate me on it, but I am still curious as to why it can even be challenged. I don't understand why. I mean, it's one of your constitutional rights. Well, why is that even being acceptably challenged? I don't get that. It'd be like challenging our charter rights and trying to take them from us. I mean,
well, they've realized they can't challenge it outright, so they're just chipping away around at the fringes, and you end up with situations like California, Connecticut, and New York, where they're now actually able. They know which weapons. You heard Van Prepper talk earlier that when he buys a weapon, he has to first go to the county sheriff, right?
Yeah, just for handguns.
Counties, but just for handguns. But you have to actually get their permission. I'm going to buy this. This is what I'm going to get, and take that certificate to the gun shop to get it. So the government now knows who has what guns, and we've seen confiscation, at least in California. I don't know about the other states, but I know for a fact in California, because it's in the news, that they'll just show up and get all your guns because they think that you're not a person who should be having guns.
Yeah, up in Canada, what we had is the gun registry law, and so that came in effect, and I think, a few years back, anyways. And it, gun owners fought against it, and they lobbied against it. And what ended up happening was a new body of parliament came in, and they basically got rid of it. They squashed it, and it left. So what ended up happening was the gun registry was closed. Allegedly, all of the records were destroyed. And this included long arms, as they consider them here. So your rifle, shotgun, so on. And of course, all handguns still have to be exact same way down there. They have to get a piece of paper, then you go to the gun shop, and you can go ahead and pick up your firearm. But then again, you have to have that piece of paper that says, this is where my gun club is, this is the route that I take to the gun club, and if you're found off of that route, you're going to get spanked for it. And like I said, so they know exactly where all the handguns are. Well, ideally, all the legal handguns are, anyways. And there you go.
Yeah.
In New York City, they've actually done the confiscations too.
That's what I thought. Yeah,
they do the registrations, and then they decide later, oh wait a minute, we decided that you can't have this, and then they've gone to people's houses and taken them. And that's one of the things that frustrates me when you listen to like Kirsten Gillibrand or Chuck Schumer or Michael Bloomberg. They always say, well, 85% of the weapons in New York are illegal weapons. Well, they weren't when you bought them. You changed the rules, had these people register them, and then decided they were illegal later and took them from them, and that then is used as your basis for saying we have this big illegal gun problem. Well, no, we have a big problem with you making the guns illegal. There was nothing, in New York City, I think shotguns, you have to register just a shotgun. Everything has to be registered there.
Oh, good grief.
I would not even visit New York City because of that stuff.
Yeah, but
They
you
don't
know
want to
what?
visit you anyway.
Yeah.
Well, luckily that's what they found out in Connecticut, right? Connecticut, now you have to go register all your guns, and they found out, oh, shoot, nobody's doing it. So now they're kind of stuck. They made this law, and nobody's doing it. So
you know what you haven't heard from New York? Now, we had the registration kick in on the 15th of January, and they haven't put out any numbers. And the reason is, I have a theory on this. This was all for political face for Andrew Cuomo, because he thought this was going to launch him into a run for the president. He doesn't actually care, and he doesn't want the hassle of, he doesn't want to come out and admit, look, nobody's registering these things. We haven't made any dent at all in whatever kind of convoluted logic that we used to think this was going to make a difference. He's perfectly happy just having the rest of New York asleep and thinking that all these guns are registered. When there really nobody has gone to register them. I'm going to guess they're somewhere around Connecticut's probably 4%, maybe less, because I don't know anybody who's got them that was going to register them. So
yeah, the news is reporting, maybe 95% have not.
What are they
registered.
trying to do? Because they're going to register the weapons. There's not going to be any crime. There were crime before there were any weapons. People were killing each other with rocks. So. It's just stupid, man.
Jarhead, you can't bring facts and logic into a debate. It doesn't work against liberals. It just doesn't work.
It doesn't.
It's just...
Think of the children. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's crazy because, we see countries like, I think it was Japan or China, where a guy killed or stabbed over 22 kids with a knife.
China.
It was in China. Yeah, people are going to do those things. It goes all the way back in the Bible. People were killing each other with rocks. That's who we are. Unfortunately, our flesh is disgusting. You know what I'm saying? We are not. We have a little bit of evil inside of us, and I guess God gave us free will, and this is what happened. And people are going to do things like that.
Well.
I don't know, man.
This was started long before then.
Mm-hmm.
Back when the Neanderthals were around, and Ooga Booga and Dubba Dubba woke up and said, "Hey, I'm gonna whack him with a rock and take his woman and his food." People realized then this is the way it is.
That's what I love about you, Tom. You're so eloquent.
Thank you.
Sorry.
People's been killing each other for centuries. and they're not going to stop it. You can control all the guns you want. Somebody's going to go out and take a stick and whack some guy over the head and kill him. So what sense is it to register your AK if you're just going to get whacked in the head with a baseball bat?
You don't want to go walk around, Melbourne, Australia, and late at night. You're asking for trouble.
Something else. Something that I think we talked about this in the past, but the prices. I mean, the prices to get a concealed weapon, it varies in different states. But I mean, I want to say I spent about $150 at least, $160 for me, and like $160 for my wife, something around there. So again, you have the right to bear arms, but you got to pay close to $200 to be able to purchase a gun. And a lot of the people that don't really make an income and trying to purchase a weapon for self-protection or to defend their families, I mean, paying close to $200 to get a permit to then go and buy a pistol for $300-400. You're talking about a lot of money, man. It kind of takes away the ability for people to defend themselves.
Well, that's one of what you got to
do. What you got to do in this circumstance, if it's cost you all this money, you got to go down to the county courthouse, re-register your name to Ooga Booga, and go to Walmart for $39.95, buy an aluminum baseball bat. Problem solved.
I made a video about that a while ago. If you don't agree with weapons, get a baseball bat.
Hey, when I was a kid, you carried knives, baseball bats, and chains. Nobody carried a gat, whatever the hell that is, but nobody carried a gat, a 9mm, or an AK. You punch somebody in the face. If you ran into a big gang, they had knives and chains and bats. Then you punched them in the face, too, and took their bats and beat the heck out of them with it. That's the way things were on the streets. Nowadays, you walk up to somebody and say hello the wrong way, they're sticking a gun in your face.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
now, see, that's where gun control laws should be focused, is the criminal element that's walking around the street with a 9mm stuffed in his pants that he's wearing down around his knees, and say, hey, do you have a gun? No, I don't. Pat that boy down. Find out if he does. If he has a gun, put his butt in a jail. Don't go taking anybody on this panel who has legal guns and put our butts in jail because, oh, hey, wait a minute, our state legislature said we have to get a permit to register this, and like Dwayne said, okay, this is the route I have to take. So typically, if I have to go X to X to X to get to my range and the cops make me go down a C detour, they could stop me right then and there and nail me.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the goal, Tom, is to get rid of all guns. So you make it as expensive as you can to get guns. You make it as hard as you can to own guns.
Yeah, but they've tried that over the years.
Yeah,
I agree. I agree with that. Here's the thing, guys. There's no way they're going to get rid of all the guns. It's impossible. And I'd mentioned this in a post, I think. What I think would be almost a better beneficial way of the government trying to manage this, and I almost wondered if that's the way it was going when you guys were talking about ammo shortages. And I said this: how do you defeat a country without firing a round? You starve them. And they did this over in Holland and so on and so forth during the years when the war. They just starved them, and basically they died. I mean, so you could do the same thing with gun owner. You could starve them for their ammunition. They're never going to be able to make it so that they. Yes, I know, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Don't give them information.
No, I know, but like I said, Jarhead went ahead and bought something from, like I said, a foreign gun manufacturer. There's no way they're going to stop that. But I think that if they could do it that way with ammunition. But again, you know what I mean. So to me, I think they're going about it all so wrong. To me, it's a money grab. It's about, and they did the same thing in Canada. Like I said, when they registered all the firearms, and just like Jarhead said, it cost you like $200 to go ahead and get a permit. Well, it was the same thing. It was a money grab, and I mean, and just to make something a little bit more difficult. But then, of course, Dirt Dart said the same thing. I don't know. I don't understand why they're attacking your Second Amendment rights the way they are and how they're going about it. I think they're going about it.
They're assholes.
Well, that's probably the case. And a lot of it's coming from people who don't know any better.
Exactly. That's what I said.
Yeah. You get people in offices who make these choices who have no knowledge whatsoever, and they think this is going to fix the problem. But like I said, they're going about it wrong if that's going to be the way it is. Maybe they should actually arm everyone, and then gun violence maybe would stop them, because nobody was going to want to take a shot, because they know it's going to come back to them.
The funny part is, there's a county in Texas that has no law. My brother-in-law went up there just to hang around for a while. They're allowed to carry open just like the Wild West. They have no crime statistics in that area.
Exactly.
What does that tell you? Now, New York City, it's got all these happy laws. Los Angeles has got a bunch of happy laws. The only people that's running around with guns are the criminals.
Yeah.
Because they don't care.
Here in North Carolina, you go open carry, and at least in my city, people open carry all the time. Like I went to Ross and Walmart, and you see guys open carry pistols, not really shotguns or ARs or anything, but it's very common to see somebody with a pistol attached to the belt, and just like Dan was saying, 90% of the time, no one cares. They're just minding his own business, and just doing whatever he's doing. I mean, it's very normal. So
we got open carry laws here too, but it just what you have here is okay. You're walking through Walmart, to use your example, and some middle class idiot that just moved here from New York is walking down the same mile and goes, "Oh my God, he's got a gun." Well, it's not like the first one you've ever seen. Every kid on your block has one of these. Here, look at it. It's a gun. It's a tool. It's like a hammer or a club. If I don't use it, it doesn't do anything to you.
What do we do to, we were talking about the whole training piece. What do we do to help out? I mean, do you guys talk to people? Because, like, for example, my mom is like, what do you guys got a gun. My wife had a gun inside her purse. And we talked, and after a while, she was like, yeah, it kind of makes sense to have a weapon, because, I mean, nowadays, you go to the mall, and you may get shot while you're eating food with your family. You know what I'm saying? You go to the movies, the possibilities of getting killed are pretty
Go to the food court at the mall, man.
Yeah.
It's the most dangerous place.
Yeah.
I don't go to malls, so.
So what I'm saying is that after talking to my mom and things like that, people start, maybe it's not such a bad idea. So I guess it's critical for us to talk to people and kind of like educate them. And look, maybe, this is what's going on.
How are you supposed to talk to them and educate them, though? You can't just walk up to somebody in Walmart and say, hey, let me tell you about my 38.
No, I mean, I'm talking about starting with friends. I mean, you guys probably have friends that think you kind of loopy out there because you have all these guns. I'm sure one of your friends are here. I did too.
Hey guys, okay. Does anybody here have like wherever they live open carry?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We do.
Oregon has open carry.
Yeah, PA has open carry.
I'm here in Florida, and we have concealed only. And I'm 50-50 on it. Like, if they had open carry, I don't know if I would open carry, because I feel like I'll be a threat.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow.
You may want to check. You may want to check on that, because I'm pretty sure in Florida you could open carry at camping grounds. And
camping grounds, fishing, yeah, hunting and all that stuff, yeah. But out in Walmart, no.
Yeah. I don't open carry in Oregon because I don't like to tell people that I'm carrying. So.
Well, that's the thing. If you're open carry, you're just advertising the fact that you got a gun.
Yeah.
And let's just hypothetically say you're involved in one of them. What do they call them? Run-by hittings they had a few months ago. You could just run
game.
up. Knockout game.
Knockout.
Hypothetically, somebody walks up to you and knocks you out. Now he's got your weapon, too.
Well, you know the reason why you got open carry, so you can show out your 1911. How else are you gonna show your 1911? I mean,
only if you got a stainless one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to carry one of them long barrel ghost guns.
Yeah.
I mean, Dan got some pistols out there that I like to take out in the ride here in North Carolina. Just open carry those babies. So
yeah.
Oh, okay, that's Dan.
But anyways.
Yeah, hey, I wanted to get back to the point you said about how do we educate people. I think it's important for people to understand that the facts are on our side. If you look at, I think Kate User was talking about some of these other states that are, they're not gun-friendly states. They have a lot of crime compared to Texas, compared to other. Look at Chicago, Illinois. Okay, so we've got the facts on our side. The second thing we can do as video makers are make videos. Because I don't know about you guys, but I cannot reach a crowd of X amount of people by talking to them in a Walmart parking lot. But when we make a video and all of a sudden people start talking and sharing, next thing you know, word gets out. Hey, maybe this guy's onto something. It's we all tend to look at the same sources, right? We go to our gun magazines and we watch videos. A lot of other people don't do that, so that's one way to get the word out and get the facts out.
And I agree. You can only do what you can only do, right? And so we're all on YouTube, and you do what you can. You know.
Well, we have to point out that the facts are the facts, and I don't care what any politician says. When guns are restricted, the criminals run wild, and it's not a safe area.
Yeah.
Here's a hypothetical situation for you. When I was a kid, things were rural here.
How long was that ago?
A long time ago, yes. Well, God was my best friend, so. But
don't eat that.
I had a dad that would. I didn't. I let my wife eat it. Now we're even. Anyway.
Which one?
I think it was the first one because she ran off with the farmer's daughter. Anyhow, my dad would run out on the porch if he thought he heard anybody walking around by the house and whack off 2 rounds out of that 12 gauge. I did the same thing when I was growing up when I first got my house here. If I'd see something running through the woods, I shot off a round, scared it away. People thought we were nuts. Came nowhere near our area of the neighborhood. Now that I've grown up a little bit, I've got people that's throwing garbage away in the dumpster that I rent per month. They pull into my yard to do whatever they feel like. I literally have an iron fence post at the end of my driveway. I've had to put up 6 times this summer because people pull into my driveway and run over my fence post. But years ago, I didn't have to worry about that when I used to just take the gun out the door and they're like, ah! And they never came by.
Yeah, you got to go Joe Biden on him, man. Just get that shotgun out, fire off a couple rounds.
Yeah, but I think it was maybe. Go ahead, 504.
When I was growing up and in high school, I mean, when it was hunting season, half the cars out in the high school parking lot had rifles in the back.
Oh
they
yeah.
weren't in cases. They weren't hidden. They're in a rifle rack in the back of the pickup or something like that. You know, and nobody even it wasn't weird. Nobody batted an eye. They're all out there in the high school parking lot. Things are different. I mean, once you get outside of rural America, and I think things have changed in the last 20 years, 30 years.
That's what I was gonna say, man. Because when I was a kid, I mean, I remember one guy hit me with a rock one time, right underneath my eyeball, and I got this one. Yeah, and I got like 3 stitches, and then when I was in New York, I mean, I got jumped so many times, man. It was like crazy. I was getting jumped like every day, fighting a bunch of guys. But I'm saying, this is like in the 90s.
That's because you weren't
like
Puerto
nowadays. Dude, I'm telling you, yeah. When you laugh, man, But when I went to New York, when you were in high school, and this is one of the things that you have to be careful with your children. Coming from the race were like divided. So like the Hispanic hang around with the Hispanics, the white with the white, and the black with the black. And it was very common to I got jumped by. I'm not gonna go into that. I don't want my channel to. But anyways,
Yeah.
what I was gonna
Wait a
say.
minute now. Everybody had their own little toots, but now if us white guys hang around together, we're white supremacists.
No, yeah, but let's not go into. I know.
Hey, I gotta. Hey,
Oh no!
Jayhawk is here now. Now NSA is listening to us.
Where'd Jayhawk come from? Hey, Jayhawk's here.
He was reconning us.
Yeah. So Jarhead sent me a link. I guess he needed some Marine Corps backup support here. I got to tell you, society as a whole is a lot like that. It's sad, and I never forget. One of my last duty stations, I was in 29 Palms, and in the staff barracks, we always every Saturday we had a barbecue.
And by 29 Palms, Jayhawk means the middle of nowhere.
Yep.
Oh God, yeah.
But hey, it's all.
You can't even find palms.
Yeah, it could be worse. I could have been at Fort Irwin.
Victorville.
Yeah, that's true too.
Yeah, but
you could be close to an army base. I'm just saying.
But anyway, the guy who started the barbecues up was actually a Navy corpsman, and Mexican guy, and one day we got together and he was like, he's looking around and he's like, man, this is so weird. He goes, only on a Marine base will you find a black guy, a white guy, a Puerto Rican, a Mexican, we don't even know what you are. And you guys are laughing around, joking, having such a great time, drunk off your butt, and not one person has said anything, or it's not that we weren't saying racial stuff, it's just when we were, it was all in a joke and everybody knew it. It was like we were all a family of people. And he's like, you won't see that on a Navy base. He goes, you go to a Navy base, we're all in our own little groups. And it's sad that, society has gotten that way.
Yeah, that's because we always heard that we were all green. In the Marine Corps, everybody's green because we all wear green camis. Yeah, that's something that I always heard. So, but I mean, you I don't know if we want to go that way, but you still have at least nowadays you see some issues with gang related in the military. A lot of guys that are joining the military to learn tactics and then going back and teach the groups.
Yeah.
So we're seeing that nowadays too, which is kind of scary.
I personally myself think if you have any gang affiliate whatsoever, or been known to have a gang affiliate, you shouldn't be allowed in the armed forces.
I agree with you there, but I can say, like, my first unit, one of the guys in our platoon, we called him Penguin, because his feet would go out like this. So even when he stood at attention, when you're supposed to be a 45-degree angle, his were always out like that. So he was the nickname Penguin. He was actually in a street gang, and a judge ordered, hey, 2 years in state pen or 4 years in the Marine Corps. It's your choice. And so he came in because he was forced to. But I don't know if the judge realized it or not, but all that did was raise his elevation up in the gang. Because once he did 4 years, now he had all that training that he had received in the Marine Corps, and he could take it back to the gang. So that's been happening for a long time, brother.
Yeah, we had a kid that got killed here for that. We had a kid here in my city that got killed. I think it was 2007, and it was gang related, and they were all in the military. So you have to be very careful. But all right, what else we got in the topics? Do we got any questions? I haven't seen any questions. Hey, by the way, I got 3 trolls that I picked up sometime in the last 2 weeks.
Congratulations!
Yeah. I went from having like I think the first or the second I had like 2 dislikes, and then the third I had like 30 something dislike, and then it went to like 2. Like this guy hooked me up, man, and I think he's probably watching because we already got 3 dislikes. So
I haven't
welcome.
seen Alaskan Frontier, so.
No, that's I'm pretty sure that's me.
Yeah, I actually dislike you too, Jarhead.
Yeah. Well,
Oh heck, I might as well too.
The Democrats, man.
you know, I remember that Brian told me one time that the moment that I started seeing dislike, that's a good thing. But
you know you've
Ted,
arrived. Yeah.
Ted was talking to me. We were talking about it because apparently he subscribed to the Amfine channel and he's disliking everything as well. So if you out there, buddy, keep disliking my videos. It's all good, bro. I don't care.
Hey, Jarhead. The great thing about those dislikes, they have to watch your video, so you get a view.
I know.
So thank you for the view. That's what I do.
And it was actually pretty funny. Yep. So, but anyways,
I saw a video where a guy was talking about trolls, and he's like, I like to feed them. They actually bring lots of viewers to my channel. They share my videos, so once in a while he'll just put some comment up there, deliberately to make them angry. And he's like, "There's a little food now," and people are like sharing his videos, leaving him nasty comments.
Brian got that video shooting the troll. That's pretty cool. I was thinking about doing something similar, like get a troll or something, a target frame or something, and get my tomahawk and go out there and just like destroy the target with my tomahawk. I don't know, maybe something funny like that.
Yeah, dude, you need another tomahawk chucking video.
Yeah.
'Cause that was pretty awesome.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. Let's see, man. I'm busy nowadays. Videos are coming fast, so.
There's just something about a Marine chucking a tomahawk that stirs up, the old Navy days when he used to board their ships. Nothing a Marine can do without his tomahawk.
I gotta tell you, man. The first time I went into a carrier for you guys, if you guys being in a big ship like that, it's impressive, man. You take like a small little ship that takes you to the big one, and then the back of the carrier kind of opens up, and you go inside the ship. You feel like you're in a spaceship or something. And those ships are huge, man. They're so big. I mean, I spent 6 months in a ship, and it sucks, man, because you spend weeks and weeks and weeks, and you just out there. The only thing you see is water. It is so depressing, man. Like, it's depressing. Big Hawk can tell you about that. And after a while, all you do is play video games, and like the whole ship rocks. So you be like rocking, and you don't even feel it. For the first couple of weeks, you're just puking all over the place.
Brother, I gotta tell you, I can't say anything about it. I was always.
You never went on a ship? Oh man, you lucky.
No, I have been on a ship, but I was never deployed on a ship. So I got lucky that way. I got to ride a civilian ship back from Korea down to Okinawa. So that was a slow tug, three day long pleasure cruise where I was eating with the captain and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was always in a unit that was important enough to fly to my location.
Yeah.
Me too. And then they threw me out of the airplane.
Yeah, I never had to do that. They always were nice enough to stop and land,
I got to tell you, man. The first 3 months I was in a carrier, the USS Kearsarge, and then 3 months after that I went to a smaller deck, a smaller ship that was called Gunster Hole, and the big one has a lot of food because the admiral, the general, whoever it is. Or the whole thing, it usually hangs around there. So, but anyways, we used to eat really good. But the little one had no food, man. We used to get like 2 chicken nuggets and a cup of water a lot of times, and you give me 2 chicken nuggets, I get really pissed. So.
Hey, just so everybody knows, he's not actually talking about an aircraft carrier. He's talking about an amphibious assault ship. It's like half the size of a real carrier. You're saying
one plane
everybody's thinking like USS Nimitz or the Eisenhower or the Kitty Hawk or something like that. Kearsarge.
I'm talking about a boat, big one that has airplanes.
But, yeah,
I don't think they don't call it a boat. They call it a ship. That's just the difference.
I was on the America one time.
Well,
USS America.
You know, that's what Marines do when they talk to Navy guys, just to piss them off. You know, hey, yeah, that's a pretty impressive boat. This ain't no boat, it's a ship. And they go off.
Yeah, good Lord.
But no, he kept saying carrier, and the Kearsarge is a amphibious assault ship, and yeah, that's the way the Marine Corps gets around. That's our punch right there. It has all our
those two in Coronado, man, that was nasty. It's down below, all the pipes leaking water and stuff.
Well, you know, the Navy always hooks us up too, because Marines were known for making a place of, you know, when we come to a place it may be nasty and bad and all that stuff, but when we leave it's all cleaned and squared away. So the Navy, what they'll do is they'll rotate the berths. So on one tour the Navy will use one set of berths, destroy it, and then on the next tour they'll throw the Marines in there and they'll move all their sailors into where the Marines were. You know, they always get their revenge on us.
Yeah. Works the same way with the Army.
Yeah. Yeah, I wonder how they came up with the idea to use an actual aircraft carrier to do that airborne assault on to Haiti. Some Army general came up with that one.
Okay. I have no idea.
NSA?
Yeah.
Jayhawk's
They do it when Jayhawk was talking.
No, see, they're not picking on me anymore. They're picking on you.
Oh, yeah, they quit doing that, too.
They're picking on Van now. Yeah, as Van left the chat, and then all of a sudden we got this buzzing on her ear, and they forgot to turn off their mics.
There's probably some New York State intelligence agency that's wired up to him. Yeah, because everybody's got their own little thing.
Keep telling Van, keep telling Van he's flirting with disaster, keeping all his guns in his house like that, man.
Yeah.
They're gonna come get him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is true. That is true.
Like I said, don't play all your cards in one pot.
Yeah, you know, I actually did a video for you tonight, Tom, where I do a shout out for you on that series. No, it'll be released in the next couple of days. That's why I joined late, I guess, because I was doing videos.
Actually, the last 3 nights in a row I had to reinstall everything that has to do with Google.
Oh.
So tonight I just said I'm going to watch a movie. I was on YouTube watching a movie, and movie got done, and I said, okay, I'm going to go reinstall Google. I reinstalled it, and this invitation came up. That's why I was late.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
I don't know what's going on. My Hangouts don't work half the time. I do get, the 15 million pieces of mail an hour, but my Hangouts don't work half the time. I get on the chats like this. The other night, it threw me completely off. I had to reinstall everything. Last 3 nights in a row, it's thrown me completely off.
Yeah.
They just don't love me. It's got to be the beard. I didn't have this problem when I didn't have a beard.
Yeah. Hey, is Dan still here? Because I had a question for him.
No, he just left.
Oh, damn. I was going to ask him about that SR9 that he has. He did a video on that. And, my brother's fiance is looking at getting a pistol. She's never gotten one before. And I wanted to see if that would actually be a good one for her. She doesn't want to spend a whole lot of money, and it looks like that SR9C would probably be a good one for her.
I don't know. I was talking to Mountain Man 1478. He just bought one out of Guns Bud Shop. It's a Smith & Wesson MV9 or something.
Mm-hmm.
Polymer frame. Nice looking gun. $313, 2 extra 16-round clips shipped.
No kidding. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I was in the gun shop today getting delayed on my lower receiver and looking around, and they had a Galil in there, 5.56, but it was I forget exactly, a little bit north of $3,000, which I think is too much. So. Yeah. I would love to have one though.
I would too.
Hey guys,
I would love to have a FAL, and I would love to have a Galil.
What'd you say, Brian?
So I'm going to cut out of here. We'll see you guys tomorrow night.
All right.
All right.
All right, brother.
Hey, take care, Brian.
Catch you tomorrow.
Yep.
Just for a side note, the guys over here in the sidebar was talking, if you haven't seen them, about this Outlaw Josie, I think her name is.
Yeah, that's it. No, Josie Outlaw.
Josie Outlaw. If you haven't had a chance to watch any of her videos, watch them.
Well, she has that one. Yeah, well, she's got that one. Why good people should be armed, and we were talking about how can we get the message out a little bit further. And like I said, her caption basically says, despite all fear mongering, emotionalism, and deceptive propaganda surrounding the issue of firearms, the principle that matters most is quite simple. And then she just goes into an amazing video, and it's not her producing it. It's actually another guy who actually helps her produce it. Right. If you go through her channel, she doesn't have a lot of videos, but they are all like professionally produced. And it's only 13 minutes long, but it's very impactful. Come for points
something like that. What we should do is take all of our subscribers, have everybody go over there and share the video, and make the damn thing go viral.
What video are you talking about?
It's Josie Outlaw, black-haired girl, blue eyes.
Oh, I think I've seen a video or two of her.
Video
I'm not subbed to her, but
Google here.
I got to show Al.
I'll put the link up again.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think Dwayne put it up.
If I can get it in the camera. Oh, there we go.
She's got some outrageous videos. Not your typical gun nut. You people need to stop all this. They're very informative, done very articulately, to where the people that's fighting for the gun rights can understand it, and the people that's fighting against the gun rights would be able to sit down and say, hey, wait a minute, that makes sense. Because, they don't want to listen to us rednecks. Everybody that's fighting against the Second Amendment, we're just a bunch of idiots and dummies. But you take somebody like her that does it so articulately, now that's an argument for him, because they can't say she's stupid or she's a redneck. Or
Hey, brother, I got to say, you need to count me out of that group, because I'm not an idiot or a dummy.
No, I'm not saying you were, J-Doc.
I'm just saying, that's not a group I want to be a part of.
No copyright infringement intended there. I would never actually count anybody in that group. There's only two people in this world that are dumb.
Really?
Yeah. It's people who run for president without anything behind them and win, and the people who voted for him. But that's just my personal opinion. No copyright infringement intended. That's going to be the name of my new channel. No copyright infringement intended. But she comes off as, all the videos I've watched her, and like General Bander said, she only has, I think, 7 videos, maybe?
She just released a new one tonight. I think it was tonight that she released a new one anyway. And it's 2 days ago, actually. Who Owns You is what it is. She's
I've seen that one.
Yeah, she's self-proclaimed anarchist. I guess she didn't really know where she fit in, because everybody has to be labeled in the world. So, but that's kind of how she looks at it. But she tries to do it without yelling and screaming. She tries to do it through, kind of like I said, one of my last videos is just common sense and a calm, smart platform. And like I said, the videos are are just, it's really good. I mean, she's got another one in there called Message to Police, which honestly I thought was pretty decent too. So
Yeah, it was.
yeah. Yeah, just a young girl. I mean, she's got everything going for her. The fact that she's pretty, she's got a gun, which is, it's, so there's two attractive points. But she's very articulate, like Tom said, and like you said, it's professionally produced and so on. So, like I said, it is really good. You can't argue with the video. I mean, like I said, if you've got your fence sitters, and like Van Prepper had said, I think it was Van Prepper had said, by targeting the fence sitters, you're further ahead. And this is what politicians do. They look at the people who are undecided and chase those ones, because it's a lot easier to sway an undecided vote than it is a no vote. So, so how many undecided you have, that's what you got to chase after, right?
Hey, I gotta say, I think this chat's funny because K-Bar, you just said something, and A.L. Owens is in the chat room going, those views expressed by K-Bar are not his own and not the group. Hey,
Thanks,
you got to remember Al Owens likes those, Eastern Bloc type of weapons. So you got to take what he says, with kind of that slang.